many mentors have you watched or read about who died? How many do you actually remember right now? It's such a standard trope that you can open a new book, meet the wise teacher, the grizzled veteran, the old master with twinkling eyes, and immediately think, dead by chapter 3. It's something of a bingo card game. Spot the doomed mentor. So today, let's talk about this trope. Why it's become so popular, when it works beautifully, and when it just feels like the failed emotional manipulation. Welcome to another episode of Just-in-Time Worldbuilding with your host, Marie Mullaney. The male mentor archetype is as old as storytelling itself. The wise teacher who guides the young hero and then exits stage left, often via a heroic death. It's mythic, it's dramatic, it's been done 1,000 times. But here's the thing. The trope survives because it works, when handled well. The mentor represents knowledge, legacy, and the transfer of wisdom between generations. Killing them off can be cathartic. It forces the student to grow. But when it's done badly, it's just cheap sentiment. So let's start by breaking down the pitfalls of this trope. Pitfall 1 is the disposable wise man. This is the mentor who exists purely to die. They wander into the story, drop some cryptic advice, maybe swing a sword once, and then nobly perish in a blaze of glory. The hero sheds a single tear, vows revenge, and that's it. The problem is that the death means nothing because the life meant nothing. If we barely know the mentor, we can't mourn them. It's like killing a tutorial character in a video game. We feel slightly inconvenienced, not emotionally wrecked. A death only hits if the relationship mattered. The audience needs to feel the loss, not just see it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I kind of feel like Obi-Wan fits this pitfall, despite Alec Guinness's amazing portrayal. We knew the dude for like 20 minutes into the movie and then, he dead. So that's my hot take for this video. Obi-Wan fits this trope. Anyway, off hot takes on to 2, the predictable sacrifice. You know this one. The hero gets him or herself into a heap of trouble. The mentor comes after them. The mentor sacrifices themselves so the hero can escape. Or the mentor has a slight cough that the hero isn't paying attention to, and the reader can literally say to themselves, yes, slight cough. Betty has insert incurable disease here. Bye guy, you dead. That's where the writer has lost tension. A predictable death turns a tragedy into a checklist item. Even worse, it can feel like a cheap manipulative shot, as if the story is saying, yeah, cry now. If you're going to kill the mentor, earn it. Either make the moment unexpected or make it inevitable in a way that hurts. Foreshadow the cost, but still surprise us with how it happens. One of the greatest male mentor deaths I've ever lived through is that of Anafil Delaney from Cashil's Dart by Jacqueline Carey. Man, I cried like a little baby girl reading that scene. Hell, I reread those books every few years and I cry every damn time even though I know it's coming. What Jacqueline did was make the death a shock. Fedre was not with him and had not gotten herself into trouble. She came home to find a slaughterhouse with him dead and a mystery. Who killed him? And figuring out what had happened there is what got her into trouble with her mentor already dead. Jacqueline doesn't use the death to just motivate Fedra. She uses the death to change the character. And that's the difference between manipulation and meaning. If you make me cry with your mentor's death, you've done it right. And if your hero is changed because of that death, you've really succeeded. And speaking of tears, let's talk about Pitfalls 3, the emotional shortcut. Sometimes writers use the mentor's death to make the villain look evil fast. He killed the old man! Boo! Or sometimes they use the mentor's death in the same way as some writers use the girlfriend's death, to give the hero insta-angst without doing any of the work of building their internal conflict. That's lazy. The mentor's death should be a pivot point, not a patch job. It should deepen the protagonist's emotional arc, not just trigger it. Just like putting a girl in a fridge isn't going to make me like your hero all by herself in her deadness, killing an old man isn't going to make me hate the villain or love the hero all by itself. These moments only work if I'm emotionally invested in the mentor and his death. Not only the impact on the hero, and his death not only impacts the hero, but also continues to be felt throughout the story. It must leave a legacy. Okay, so we've done a lot of chatting about the pitfalls, but as I said, the trope endures, and for good reason. So let's talk about why the mentor trope still works. The dead mentor trope endures because it provides incredible narrative leverage. When the mentor dies, the hero's safety net vanishes. The training wheels come off. Suddenly, every decision matters. There's no one left to call for help. The death becomes a rite of passage, the symbolic handover from one generation to the next. When done well, it's devastatingly good storytelling. Probably one of the best examples of the mentor dying is Gandalf the Grey from the Fellowship of the Ring. Sure, he comes back later and we'll talk about that. But in Fellowship of the Ring, Gandalf's fall into Moira remains one of fantasy's most enduring mentor deaths. It works because we believe in his bond with the Fellowship. We've seen him bicker with Boromir. We've seen him tease Frodo. We've seen him exchange confidences with Strider. We know his warmth, his temper, his humanity. So when he faces the Balrog and says, "You shall not pass," we're not just watching a cool magical duel. We're watching a father figure sacrifice himself for his family. His death isn't just a shock. It reshapes the story. The group fractures, Strider must lead, and the audience feels the void left behind. And in the end, his death forces Frodo to run just with Sam. But I did mention that Gandalf comes back, right? And that brings me to the ghostly cheat code, when and where to bring the mentor back. But before we talk about that, give me one moment to invite you to sign up for my newsletter. It comes out 4 times a year, and it's got deeper thoughts on world building, a blog, and questions and answer, where I answer the questions asked by you. And also, all subscribers to the newsletter get a free novella each year. If that sounds interesting, sign up on the link down below. Okay, let's talk about resurrecting the mentor. Sometimes writers want to have the mentor still play some kind of role in the story. Not just in the character's memories or flashbacks, but in a more real sense. And so they resurrect the mentor as a spirit or a memory or a dream guide. Now this can work. Gandalf the White being a great mythic upgrade, or even Luke hearing Obi-Wan's voice, which makes up for only having 20 minutes of Obi-Wan, or even Simba seeing Mufasa in the clouds.
Mufasa! Do it again.
But you want to be real careful when you're resurrecting the mentor. If the mentor keeps reappearing to give advice every time things get tough, it cheapens their death. The emotional payoff dissolves into press F to summon Ghost Dad. So, use your post-humanist mentors sparingly. Hey, there's a statement, post-humanist mentors. Anyway, one good haunting scene can be beautiful. A whole afterlife support group, doesn't work so great. The dead mentor trope doesn't work because the mentor comes back. It works if the mentor has a lasting impact on both the hero and the reader. So when you kill a mentor, ask yourself, what changes in the hero's behavior that proves they learned something? If the only effect is a little bit of sadness, maybe a couple of tears, you've wasted that death. If you need to bring the mentor back for cheap thrills, you've wasted the death. But if we see the hero applying the mentor's lessons, quoting them, mirroring their values, or even rejecting them, then the death has weight. If the mentor's return impacts the hero with a different lesson from their death, you've done a great job and the torch has truly passed. Now, I feel it would be remiss if I didn't point out, you don't have to kill the mentor to evolve your hero. To subvert the trope, you can retire your mentor gracefully. They just step aside. Hands down, the best example ever is from Avatar: The Last Airbender, where Uncle Iroh serves as Zuko's mentor throughout the series and survives the final conflict. Rather than perish, Iroh steps aside peacefully. After the war, he opens the Jasmine Dragon tea shop in Ba Sing Se and lives out his days serving tea. This gentle retirement is a deliberate inversion of the usual mentor fate. Iroh's story shows a mentor happily living to see the fruits of his guidance, as he watches Zuko redeem himself and become Fire Lord without any tragic sacrifice needed. Also, shout out to My Little Soldier Boy episode with Uncle Iroh. That's another scene that makes me cry every damn time. Second, instead of killing the mentor, you could corrupt the mentor and he becomes the antagonist. In Ghost of Tsushima, Lord Shimuru is Jin Sakai's uncle and mentor who taught him the ways of the samurai. By the end of the story, however, Shimuru is pitted against his own student. Disgusted by Jin's use of underhand ghost tactics, Lord Shimuru is ordered to hunt Jin down, and he becomes an eventual antagonist to the hero he raised. This twist forces a final mentor versus student duel, and it subverts the trope by having the mentor not die nobly for the hero, but instead live long enough to become a source of conflict, a personal and ideological enemy the hero must overcome. If you played that game, did you kill Shimaru or did you spare him? Let me know in the comments. I killed him. I did. I knew he wouldn't be able to live with the shame, and I figured it was better for him, I did. I killed him. The third way you can subvert the mentor dying trope is by inverting the role of the hero and the mentor. This is where the hero moves too early or whatever, and they die. And the mentor has to take their place. This is a very, very, very infrequent inversion, and honestly, I love the thought of it enough that I might write it myself someday. Imagine a story where everyone expects the wise old mentor to die, and instead, he survives, but the promising student fails, and the mentor has to go face the big bad evil guy. I mean, a grizzled old mentor guy, haunted by the kid he failed, not sure if he has one more fight in him and he has to save the world. Come on, let's go! Anyway, the closest I could find to this actually being implemented was in the Mahabharata, which is an ancient Indian epic. And it's in the part where they talk about the death of Abhimanyu. I obviously only read a translation, so forgive me if I'm getting any of this wrong. But basically, the young warrior Abhimanyu, the son of Arjuna, enters battle, and he is killed when enemy warriors trap and overwhelm him. And Abhimanyu's death is permanent, and it serves as a turning point in the war. His father, Arjuna, one of the Pandava heroes and Abhimanyu's mentor in warfare, survives and swears an oath of vengeance. Arjuna confronts the chief culprit, Jayadratha, slaying him by day's end to honor his vow. And after avenging his fallen pupil and son, Arjuna carries on to win the Kurukshetra war. So the young hero dies, and the older mentor and his father, Arjuna, is left to defeat the antagonist and fulfill the mission. So those are 3 ideas for you to subvert the plot, sometime in the future, instead of just having a dead mentor. Long story short, the mentor who dies trope isn't bad. It's just overused in all the wrong ways. It works when it's great, when it's about connection, not emotional convenience. When the mentor's death forces the hero to grow, reflect, and truly step into the spotlight, it earns its place in storytelling history. But if it's just there for easy tears, your audience will see through it. So next time you're killing a mentor, ask yourself, does their death teach, or does it just tidy up the plot? And that's where we'll leave it for today. If you made it this far, hit the thumbs up, drop an old man emote in the comments. If you liked this video, you'll probably enjoy my breakdown of female warriors and manipulators. It's on screen now. And of course, a huge thank you to all my channel members, especially the just-in-timers of the Stone tier. Tony Lamanna, Katie Kofi Mug, Epic, Necromancer JM, A. Walyard, Neil Buckley, and Laura Bone 79. Along with everyone in the wood and straw tiers who keep this channel running. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon for another episode of Just in Time World Building.